as soon as they heard about her offer, they're like, wow, that's exactly what I want. And they would sign on the dot. They wouldn't even ask the price. And selling became so much easier because she was already sharing her value up front, and her ideal clients just naturally saw her as their obvious choice of service provider. So she wasn't marketing her services per se, she was marketing her understanding of her ideal client, and her business boomed. Hello and welcome to the Art of Value Whispering podcast. I'm your host, Melitta Campbell, award-winning business coach and value whisperer. And you may have heard me on this podcast if you've been listening for a while. My usual introduction, I talk about how too many talented experts with a service-based business like coaches, consultants, and freelancers lose out to the often inferior competition. And for just one reason, they struggle to communicate the true value of what they offer. And today I want to take a moment to dive into this a little bit deeper, because I've had several conversations this week with people who have really struggled to define their niche. And part of that, I think, is because you don't know what to do with that information. And knowing your niche is the key to being able to communicate your true value. So true value, as I define it, has two branches to it. The first side is really understanding you. What is special about you? What about everything to do with your personality, your experience, your struggles, your wins makes you the perfect person to serve your ideal clients? What is it about that experience that you are really excited to package up and share with others to help them in some way? What about your values makes you show up in a certain way? What's your personality? Because these are all factors that differentiate yourself. And we can be fooled into thinking, as an entrepreneur, we all have to be out there making videos, dancing around, creating lots of high conversion content all of the time. But that's not true. It depends on who you are, your personality, what you enjoy doing, and who your ideal clients are, and how they like to receive information, how they like to learn, how they want to solve their problem, what their values are, what their struggles are, what their aspirations in life are. We want to know as much detail about our clients as well. So we're looking at everything about us and everything about our clients. And then we're going to look at where those two aspects of value overlap. So where everything that's unique and special about you overlaps with everything that's unique and special about your clients and how they want to solve their problem, where what you want to deliver, how you want to help people overlaps with what they want to solve and how they want to solve that problem. So it's a bit of a tango between the two. The big challenge is that doing this work takes time. In the Value Whispering Blueprint, my signature program, we spend a good 3 weeks looking at this information. And after that, we start applying it to your marketing, your messaging, your offers, your signature system. And in that process, you start to see how to apply that information, how to apply the knowledge of your dream client, and you start to see your value differently. You start to see their needs differently. And differently usually means you go deeper. You have more connection, more insight. And I see it with my clients that they start answering the questions on a kind of surface level way, the way they've done it in every other program, the way that they've been guided to do it through a book or through some process they followed. But it's not deep enough. It's not deep enough to really make that connection. And if you're ever at a loss as to what to say to connect with your dream clients, to attract them into your business, for them to learn about your service and think, oh my gosh, where have you been? I need to work with you. If you are not yet getting that response, then you probably haven't gone deep enough in this first part of the marketing puzzle and business puzzle, really, because once you understand this value sweet spot, you can build everything in that space. your marketing, your communications, your sales process, your all of your processes, in fact, your systems, the people you hire, the words you use, everything is going to come from this value sweet spot, which saves you a lot of time, effort, and money as well, because you know where you're going to get the most return, and you won't be swayed to do something that doesn't fit within that value sweet spot. So the big question I'm sees people struggling with is getting their niche right. And in episode 170, so I'd encourage you to go back and listen to that one, I talk about, do you really need a niche? And I've got a video on YouTube. If you search for Melitta Campbell Niche with Confidence, you will find that masterclass, or go to my channel. It's just at Melitta Campbell. And in that masterclass, I talk about how to niche with confidence, how to get started, why you need a niche. But then the next question is, and something I hear with my audience, well, I know my niche. I know that I work with teachers. I know that I work with busy mums, busy professionals, but it's too vague. Who is a busy professional? Well, firstly, everyone. Everyone who works in an office could be classed a busy professional. So it really isn't a niche at all. And how do busy professionals think? I mean, it depends, right? Is it a male or female? Do they have children? Are they in their 20s and starting out in their career? Are they moving into leadership for the first time? Are they coming into the final years of their work life? There are so many varying factors. Busy professional is not a niche. So we need to narrow that down further. But let's imagine that you are targeting busy professionals. Maybe you're a health coach. Busy professionals who are in their 20s, perhaps, they may be focused more on, okay, I want to get my health so I have peak performance. But if you have a busy professional and they are a parent, so maybe they're in their 30s, they've become a parent, and how on earth can they keep everything going and still have time for their health? They're not thinking about peak performance. They're just thinking survival. They are thinking energy and how can I carve out time? So what they're going to be looking for is probably something more bite-sized training, how to fit things in, how to think differently about what you're already doing to bring in healthy habits into that. Those people who are coming towards the end of their career, moving into retirement, what health means to them is going to be very different again. So we can start to see that there are so many different niches within something like busy professionals, and they all have different needs. They're all going to be thinking differently, which brings me to the key point here. The most important thing you want to know about your niche is the conversation that's going on in their mind. What are they thinking right now? And I hear things like, oh, I will help you get your nutrition and movement plan organized. But is that the conversation that's going on in their head? Are they up at night thinking, oh, I need a nutrition plan? Most probably thinking, if they're a young professional, how can I still go down the pub with my friends at the weekend and balance that out with healthy eating elsewhere? Or for my lifestyle, how can I maintain my weight and still do the things I want to do? Those who are parents, those coming to the end of their career, they're going to have a very different conversation in their mind about their nutrition, about their movement, about how their body feels, about their mind space. And these are 3 different generations as well. So they're going to have different words that they use to describe these things too. So that in the 20s, they may be looking at biohacking, and someone in their 60s probably aren't thinking that way. They're thinking more longevity. Well, you're not thinking that in your 20s. So the more you know about your ideal client, the more you can understand the conversations that they're having with themselves and join them in that moment. So one of the biggest mistakes I see coaches making is that they talk in coach language, which nobody says. So whoever your niche is, think about how you would describe things over a coffee with a friend. Describe things that way until you really get to understand your client and how they describe things. So listen to them on sales calls, listen to them at networking events, listen to them during conferences and when they're speaking. listen to the podcasts they listen to, read the books and magazines they read. So you can start to really immerse yourself in their language. I used to do communication consultancy for leaders, and I made a point of always reading the FT, The Economist, and HBR, because even if they didn't read those, that's what they wanted to sound like. These are the principles they wanted to align with. This is the kind of leadership style they wanted. So that kind of language was going to speak to them, and they can relate to it. So I got so much work because I could speak their language. And the way I did that was to immerse myself. And I went for a project with an organization of zoos. And how I assimilated myself with their language was I went and watched as many TEDx talks as I could about the environment, about animals, about trees, and really started to pick out, how do people who are passionate about these topics speak? Are there any pet phrases, any words that they use that perhaps I wouldn't use? So I could start to get their style. And again, I won that contract, and I was able to connect with them very quickly by adapting the way I communicated so I aligned with them. So once you understand your client, you want to really immerse yourself in how they speak, how they describe things. Do they prefer reading? Do they prefer videos? Do they like long texts or maybe short, punchy texts? So each of these different client groups are going to have different preferences as well. So that's the first thing. Coaches speak in coach language, and we want to stop that. You want to immerse yourself in your client's way of speaking. The other mistake I see coaches making is they speak either too much about the source of the problem or too much in the future about what we're going to do to solve this problem. And often they don't even know they have a problem yet. So one of my clients, for example, she helps mothers with their energy. But I know, as a mother myself, that for many years I told myself, yeah, I'm tired. Yeah, I'm exhausted all the time, but I'm a mum, so of course I am. I didn't even recognize it was a problem that could be solved. I just thought, well, that's the way it is. And for many of your clients, if you're a coach, they haven't even recognized they have a problem. They just think, well, that's the way it is. I just have to put up with it. So first, you have to join that conversation in their mind. Where are they stuck right now? Or what are the problems they're facing that they haven't even recognized the problems? Speak to them there and then say, if this is what you're experiencing, then this isn't the point where you can solve that problem. We need to do this in order to solve it. And then you won't have this issue anymore. When you have simple techniques on how to move more, drink more, sleep better, eat better, you will have more energy. You may be thinking right now, as a mom of school-aged children, that being tired is normal. It's not. We can do some simple things that aren't going to take time, aren't going to be expensive, aren't going to be difficult to give you more energy. And then you can start to paint the picture of what that looks like in the future. When they have more energy, what would their life be like? And then you want to bridge the gap and go back and listen to the episode where I talk about my favorite way of communicating your value, because that talks about how to bridge the gap between where they are today, this dream future of theirs. And that's the moment where they think, well, it might work for other people, but will it work for me? And then you say, yes, because we're going to start here, do this, then that, then the other, and they can start to see the logic. They can start to see those steps and how it's broken down and how it could work for them. So they start to build that belief that, yes, this could happen for me. So you want to speak in their language, not in coaching language. You want to join the conversation where they are today, what that problem is. And then you want to be sure that you are communicating to the right audience. So a lot of coaches seem to have a community of coaches, and they're not your audience unless you coach coaches. In my case, I do coach coaches. So that's fine that my audience is full of coaches. But maybe because with coaching, you tend to have a big cohort of people that do the training with you, and then you go into some membership and your network of coaches grows, which is great for support. You do need a network of people who understand what you're trying to achieve, but you also need to build your network of buyers, people who are potential clients, and to start to really understand this conversation that's going on in their mind. But what are they really trying to achieve? How is your offer going to make a difference for them? And I'll give you a couple of examples. So you may have heard me talking about Kate before. She was my very first client, but she makes such a great example. She was teaching children how to read and write in English. When she was talking about her services, she was really just talking about how she helps kids to read and write in English. But we live in an area where there's quite a lot of expats. The local language is French. And so there were a lot of people teaching kids to read and write in English. And she was putting herself in the mix with these people without a differentiated method. And she was more expensive. So she found it a real struggle to attract clients. However, when we looked at what is it that she really offers, it wasn't teaching kids to read and write in English. She helps these kids to co-create their lessons so they understand what they're most interested in, how they learn best. And that would then help them do better at school, enjoy learning, and then, that sets them up for life. So knowing that that's what she was really offering, then she could communicate to the parents who were really conscientious. And obviously every parent wants the best for their kids, but the ones that were passionate about learning and lifelong learning and wanted that result for their kid, suddenly she could talk to them. And as soon as they heard about her offer, they're like, wow, that's exactly what I want. This is amazing. And they would sign on the dot. They wouldn't even ask the price. And selling became so much easier because she was already sharing her value up front, and her ideal clients just naturally saw her as their obvious choice of service provider. She then backed that up with a simple marketing plan of a series of events that added value and showed that she understood the way the parents wanted to raise their children. So she wasn't marketing her services per se, she was marketing her understanding of her ideal client, and her business boomed. Another client, she's an interior architect, and a similar thing. She realized that her clients were mostly women who were already in leadership but wanted to go further. They wanted to get that next level career. And so what they wanted from their interior wasn't just for it to look pretty, but they wanted it to be practical. It wanted it to support their busy lifestyle, their juggling things around. They wanted it to always look good with minimal effort, but they also wanted it to make them feel amazing, make them feel like a leader, let them come home and relax so they had more energy, make them get ready in the morning and feel $1,000,000. So a bit like how you would dress for the job you want, they had the interior that supported them now and into the future, into that life they wanted, into that next position they wanted. So she could start to talk about her interiors that way, which was completely different to how any other interior designer or interior architect was talking about what they do. And suddenly she became their obvious choice, and she's been inundated ever since. So once you really understand your ideal client and you can demonstrate through your messaging, through your marketing, through the way you show up, through your brand, that you get them, you understand who they are, you understand their struggles, and you are ideally placed to serve them with that because you have a different way of thinking that aligns with what they want. It just makes it a marriage made in heaven. And once you can connect with that, then everything becomes easier. So when you're thinking about your niche, don't stop at, I help 30-year-olds who live in this area and go to the gym regularly. Go deeper. How can you narrow down people that think a certain way, that want a certain result, that want to work a certain way to solve that problem? Show that understanding, and your clients will see you as a natural choice. Your marketing, your sales, your communication, everything about your client attraction will become smoother, more natural, easier, and more enjoyable and fun, because it's all going to be about connecting, building that relationship, being your client's champion. And then the next step in the journey, then becoming a client, becomes really smooth. And on your sales conversation, you won't have to sell yourself. You've already done that. They already come to the call believing that you're the perfect choice for them, believing that you have a lot of value to offer them. They just have a few questions. So then that conversation is very different to if they come on a call and you first have to sell who you are. And this is where you can get a little bit pushy and they won't be ready. It gets a little bit messy. So those sales conversations feel much nicer, more enjoyable, and smoother, more natural when you've already been whispering your value into the ear of your client over a period of time. So when the moment's right for them, you just have that beautiful conversation and welcome them into your business. So I hope that's helped you to think a little bit differently about your niche, how you need to think about them, what you're going to do with that information so you can go a little bit deeper. And when you go that bit deeper, they will see that connection. You will find it so much easier to know where to look to find them, exactly what to say to attract your dream clients into your business, how to create content and when to put it out, what kind of format, what kind of words to use. Everything becomes much, much easier. And because you've done it in your value sweet spot, it feels more like a collaboration. You're not trying to be someone you're not. You're being your authentic self, but focusing on your client's needs. So it's that nice marriage between the two. So I hope you found that helpful. Do come and join me in the Dream Clients Club. It's my online community. It's like a membership program. We have live training, we have bonus resources, there are challenges, there's an amazing community of support in there, and a lot of coaches charge quite a bit of money to join this kind of membership and community, and my community is completely free to join. You just have to go along to melittacampbell.com/club and you'll find us and you can join there. As I say, it's completely free. And there every week we have a podcast chat where you can come and discuss the themes from the show. So come and join that podcast chat and let me know if you have any questions about your niche, if you found this helpful, if it's given you some aha moments and breakthroughs that are going to help you start to connect with your clients, feel more yourself in that process as well, and start to really enjoy your marketing sales and get better results as well. So I look forward to hearing from you there. Also, this summer in the Dream Clients Club, we're running the Summer Business School, and this year it's all about your mindset. So there is a small charge for that program, but you can go and check it out at melittacampbell.com/summer24. And in there, you'll find all the information that you need to know about the program. It started the 1st of July, but there is still plenty of time to join in and work on your mindset, build your self-belief, get your habits and behaviors right, everything you need to support your success so you can accelerate your personal and professional growth come September. So I hope you will go and check that out and come and join us. Meantime, I look forward to seeing you again in next week's show.